An American Navy veteran is free this morning after being held captive in Afghanistan for nearly 3 years. Mark Frerichs safely arrived in Qatar after being freed by the Taliban in exchange for a convicted drug trafficker with ties to the Taliban. The 60-year-old was an engineer working on an aid project in Afghanistan at the time that he was kidnapped. He is said to be in stable health this morning. Danny Gilbert is a fellow with the John Sloan Dickey Center for International Understanding at Dartmouth College, who researches hostage-taking and international security. She is with us now for more. Welcome. We are glad to have you. This exchange was years in the making. What went into this swap?
Well, thank you so much for having me. So when Americans are taken hostage or held wrongfully abroad, the United States government works around the clock across agencies to try to bring our citizens home. And that often manifests as negotiations with some of our worst adversaries around the world. The Taliban wanted the release of an Afghan prisoner in the United States, and the United States government facilitated that exchange to bring Mark Frerichs home safely.
So how significant is this development when it comes to U.S. relations with the Taliban?
The White House is talking about this as an important first step to potentially improving relations with the Taliban. Over the course of history, prisoner swaps have been a really important first step, kind of a sign of good faith in working with our adversaries. And by demonstrating that they were willing to release Mark Frerichs after his 2.5 years in captivity, that's a crucial first step that the United States might consider improving relations because the Taliban is willing to do things like this.
So what does the fact that this swap was successful tell you about prospects of getting other Americans who are detained, like Brittney Griner, of course, Paul Whelan, from Russia?
The United States government has a highly developed infrastructure that works on these cases. That includes folks at the White House and the National Security Council, the State Department, the Special Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs, and an interagency body housed at the FBI called the Hostage Recovery Fusion Cell. And though we don't hear the details all the time, all of these people are working around the clock to bring our citizens home. And so even though Mark Frerichs has not been in the news much over the last 2.5 years, most American citizens wouldn't know his name or wouldn't have known his story. We can have faith that the government is working on these cases. And so even when things are quiet, when we're not hearing updates about Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan and the other dozens of Americans held in these kinds of situations around the world, that our government officials are working to make sure that Americans can come home safely.
That is a great point to underline, especially where these negotiations are so delicate. Dr. Danny Gilbert, thank you so much. We appreciate your being here with us today.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.